What is this?
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like it could be like a really old and hopefully really expensive coin.
It's George III and Resolution and Adventure. Sailed from England, 1772. This is interesting. Resolution and Adventure were Captain Cook's ships. Okay, you know who he was?
Was he the pirate from Peter Pan or something?
Wrong dude.
Okay. I was cleaning out my grandma's house and found it in one of the boxes. I had no idea that she was into like collecting things like that. Who knows where she got it? Like, I have no idea. I don't really have any use for the coin, or I figured maybe a couple bucks would be great.
Captain Cook worked his way in the annals of history to be one of the greatest ship captains ever. This is the guy who discovered Hawaii.
Wow.
Islands all over the Pacific. He mapped them all out. He invented some really amazing mathematics that helped them navigate where they were going. Captain Cook was an amazing guy. Captain Cook was a naturally brilliant navigator. The maps he made of Newfoundland in the 1750s were so good, they were still using them in the 20th century. If this has some relation to his world-famous voyages, there's some value here. I mean, it looks like maybe it attached to a ribbon. Maybe it belonged to an officer for being on that journey.
Cool.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued, but I don't know if this was made in 1772,
sure,
or if they sell these in the gift shop in England right next to all the old ships, okay?
Right.
There's some odd things here. I mean, it's one of the most detailed medals I've ever seen from that time period.
Wow.
And that's why I'm thinking it's a lot newer than that, but there's that little chance it's something.
Okay.
How much you want for it?
I'd be thrilled with 50 or 100 bucks.
Can you wait around so I can get someone to look at it? I'm really, really interested.
Okay, I definitely have the time, so thanks.
I'm gonna call the Rain Man of Coins.
Okay.
I should be able to get him down here in 15, 20 minutes, all right?
Awesome, thank you very much. I started to see dollar signs when he was like really excited about it, pointing out all these awesome, cool things about it. Yeah, I think the expert will let us know exactly what it is, what it's worth. I'm excited to hear what they have to say.
It's a very interesting item. This is a Resolution and Adventure medal. This journey lasted 3 years, from 1772 to 1775. He went down past the bottom of the African continent. He circumnavigated the southern portion of South America. He went to Fiji, Tahiti, New Zealand, Easter Island. He went everywhere. Captain Cook is really one of the most important explorers in modern history. In his third journey, Captain Cook tried to capture a Hawaiian. They objected and murdered him, along with some of his top men.
What do you think?
This is really an historical item. They made 2,000 of these, but all of these went to Captain Cook, every single one of them, in a cask, and he carried them on his journey.
Wow.
He was to give them out to local chiefs as tokens of esteem.
So, I mean, so when he would land it on an island, he would hand a few of these out, and, you know, everyone would ooh and ah, because a lot of these islands where he's landing at, the indigenous people haven't even discovered metalworking yet.
Right. These would have been extremely interesting to the recipients. And so each one of these is pedigreed right back to Captain Cook. He handled every one of them.
Whoa.
There may have been some left over. This may have been one that was presented and then handed down generations, or found in the soil.
All right, so did they ever restrike these?
They struck the original batch. Certainly people have tried to counterfeit them by casting them later, but this is struck, and it has this loop on top, and all of them had that.
Okay.
But it's the real McCoy. This is...
I mean, so that was struck in 1772?
Absolutely.
Whoa.
To hear Dave say this is from the 1700s is amazing. But the fact that this was actually in Captain Cook's hand, it's a real piece of history from one of the greatest explorers that ever lived. So what do you would think it would go for at an auction?
This one's actually in pretty good condition. Very nice looking piece. Has some of the original lighter brassy color to it. To me, it's about a $7,500 to $8,500 item.
That's amazing. $75 to $8,500 for that?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This was once owned and handled by Captain Cook, so it's far more than just a medal. It's an historical object with a fantastic pedigree, and collectors are willing to pay for that.
okay. Should've just gave you your 50 bucks.
I think it's worth a couple more than 50 bucks. I feel like I should ask for what it's worth. So 7,500?
No. You know what? I'm gonna give you $5 grand for it. Okay, you know why I'm gonna give you $5 grand for it?
Why?
Because you owe it to me.
Why do I owe it to you?
Because, remember, an hour ago, you wanted 50 bucks for it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's, you just owe it to me because I just made you all this money.
Well, I guess that's
Think
true.
about it, think about it, okay? If it wasn't for me, you would have, if you walked in any other place on the planet, they would have gave you your 50 bucks and they would have left. So I think $5 grand is a deal.
Fair enough.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
I'll meet you right over there.
Thank you, sir.
This is cool.
I didn't know what I had walking in. When he told me that this is what I'm gonna give you, I was pretty happy with it.
You must own really large chickens.
No, I have no chickens.
So what exactly is this?
This is an elephant bird egg.
Okay.
I bought it for my business. I sell fossils and other natural history things.
I thought you were gonna say you sell eggs.
I'm here at the pawn shop today to try to sell my elephant bird egg. I'm hoping to get $2,500 for the egg. I've had the egg for 15 years. I think it's about time that somebody else gets some enjoyment out of it.
This is interesting. So I know a little bit about the elephant bird, but basically they were the biggest birds ever. Looked like an ostrich, but it weighed twice as much. It was like a foot taller.
Right. In fact, I have a very old trading card, the picture of the elephant bird.
This thing would be scary to be around. I mean, yeah, I think ostriches are scary.
Ostriches are scary enough.
I know they dig these things up and they like piece them together from several eggshells.
Yeah, from several eggs. Yeah, it's all these are little pieces. So this is made of all elephant bird eggshell, but not from one egg.
All right, looks like they did a good job. It's really, really interesting. They're super collectible. As a matter of fact, fossils nowadays, they're sort of on fire. People are really, really getting into it here lately. How much are you looking to get out of it?
I'm thinking 2,500.
Okay, tell you the truth, I have no idea if that's a good number or if it's even made out of eggshell.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, I do have a friend, he's a paleontologist. If I can get him down here to take a look at it.
I think that's great.
Okay, I'll be back here in a little bit.
All right.
That's right, I'm calling in a expert.
Wow, elephant bird.
That's what she says.
May I?
Absolutely.
Wow. These are pretty rare. They're often fake too, though. These fossils are often faked because they are rare and valuable. Porcelain is something that's easily fakeable with these types of eggshells. They're large, they're heavy, and that's a material that can pass to a lot of untrained eyes. So elephant birds could get up to 10 feet tall and weigh as much as 1,600 pounds. So obviously they laid a big egg. This is actually one of the larger eggs that I've seen. Some were smaller, but this is well within range of what we would expect to see for an elephant bird.
Okay, so is it real?
It looks real, but we need to take a closer look.
Okay.
I'd like to take a look at the surface texture. This lens is going to tell us all we need to know about the surface of the shell. Let's see here. Wow, there it is, Rick. See those long grooves in the shell right there? That's what we would expect to see from an elephant bird.
Okay, so we have an actual elephant bird egg.
We do have an actual elephant bird egg. It is a composite. Who knows how many different eggs this thing is made of? But there is some condition issues that I'd like to point out. All of these abrasions here, that's where the pieces didn't quite fit together. So rather than taking the time to find pieces that fit better, they just kind of ground them into place. That's really going to affect the value.
So tell me, is it worth it? Elephant load of cash?
I would appraise this egg $5,900, I think is a fair appraisal of this specimen.
I like your paleontologist.
Okay. Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so you want $2,500 for it?
Well, now I'm thinking 3,000.
It's a very small market. It's very weird. It will eventually sell. Tell you what, I'll give you $2,800 for it. That's more than a fair price.
But you sure you can't do 3,000 on it?
I'm offering you more than you are asking.
I know, that's true. But your paleontologist really got my hopes up.
2,800 is the best I could do.
If it's really your best, fine. Okay.
All right, sweet, we
You
have a
got it.
deal. If you just go around the corner, do some paperwork, I'll get you paid.
Okay. I think it's a fair enough price. It's more than I came in for, so I'm happy.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
What do we got?
I got a 1984 Olympic boxing ticket stub with a few autographs on it you might be interested in.
And I know the signatures right off the bat. That's Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson. This is in 1984, and back then Holyfield had 2 ears, right?
I'm at the pawn shop today to try and sell my 1984 Olympic boxing ticket stub. Back in the day, I was a big fan of boxing, so I drove down to the arena every day and became friendly with the U.S. boxing team. The ticket does have a little sentimental value. The time that I spent with the Olympic boxers was special to me. I'm looking to sell it because you can take the ticket with you, and you can do some good with the money. I'm hoping to get $500 for this ticket stub.
This is definitely cool. This was the '84 Olympic Games held in Los Angeles. How did you get him to sign it?
Well, it was a day where the Olympic U.S. team had a bye. They were all in their street clothes, so I was kind of hanging out with them. Mike's head was hanging low because he was just riding the pine.
Yeah, Mike Tyson was there as an alternate. I mean, he really didn't have anything to do unless somebody got injured or hurt, right?
Yeah. I knew he was young and didn't have any money, and first time on an airplane, so I took him to lunch. I just wanted to kind of lift his spirits a little bit. Came back, they were still hanging out. The guy we kind of sat next to was Evander, and that's when I got Evander Holyfield.
Holyfield won the bronze medal for the light heavyweight division. After these games, both these guys were huge. I mean, they both went pro immediately after that. By 1988, they were both the creme de la creme of heavyweight boxing. Tyson and Holyfield fought in 1996. I'm sorry, he just wasn't prepared to fight Holyfield. The second time, in 1997, Tyson said he was sick of getting headbutted, so he decided to, for whatever reason, bite off Holyfield's ear. So is history. It's definitely cool, so what are you looking to do with it?
I've had a long time. I think I'm ready to sell it.
Any idea what you're looking to get?
I think $500 is a fair price.
Okay, you know, you got something really interesting here. I've never seen anything like this. You know, if you just brought me Mike Tyson's signature, I would have just said, you know, they're not really that much money. Same thing with Evander Holyfield. But the fact that they're on the same thing at an event that they were both at long before they were really famous or anything like that, I mean, I think it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of interesting. I think it could be worth some money. Do you mind if I have a guy come in and take a look at the signatures?
Please do.
All right, I'll be back in a few.
My one concern with the expert coming in to validate the signatures is the rarity. He's probably not seen many adolescent signatures from those boxers back in the day, so that concerns me.
Hey, what's up, Steve?
Hey, Corey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. He's got a ticket stub from the '84 Olympics signed by Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson.
Really? I have to be honest with you. Don't really see that too often. The two of them together from that period, because no one was really asking these guys when they were amateurs. It'd be pretty rare.
You know, these guys were both kids back then.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to think about it. Tyson was just, you know, an amateur. I think he was 17 years old, something like that, right in that range.
He just turned 18.
And Holyfield was a couple years older than him. Both came out of kind of rough areas, you know, and they're tough kids, some great fighters.
I mean, Steve, obviously it's a weird item. I mean, are these their autographs?
I've only seen, I think, one other ticket signed by them. That's it. So it's pretty scarce to have them on an item together, especially an Olympic ticket. So the first thing, obviously, I want to do is take a look at the ink on this thing and kind of just see what we're dealing with, Corey. And it looks like a ballpoint pen on Tyson, and same thing for Evander Holyfield. So it's a blue ballpoint pen, so both are live on there, no problems with that. Tyson, very difficult to find any kind of signature from him from that period. I've seen just so few of them. This is from one of the only I've ever seen signed, and it's literally the same type of signature. The Holyfield autograph, very basic, very neat, and he takes his time with it. So, tell you the truth, you got a winner here.
Okay. So what would something like this go for?
Well, you know, with the two of them together, I think it's significant. Their history together kind of makes it worth more money. And these are two of the most iconic boxers of all time. This one is special. And in today's marketplace, you're looking at about $2,000.
Oh, wow.
My kids told me it was going to be a big hit, but I thought not that big of a hit.
I'd say it's one of the neatest Olympic items from '84 I've ever seen.
Wow.
All right, man. Steve, thanks for coming by.
Yep, good luck with that. Take care.
All right, so deal, 500.
Wow, you shouldn't have brought him in.
What do you take for it?
1,500.
I'll double what you came in asking for and give you 1,000.
It's more than fair, but knowing how rare it is now, I think I'll stay at 1,500.
You know, me having to sell this thing, you know, I might get somebody coming in offering me $1,700 for it. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna get. So I'm just gonna have to stick at 1,000.
I think after holding it for 37 years, I can hold on for a couple more.
Well, my offer will stand, so if you ever want to come back, please do, okay?
I appreciate
Take
that.
care.
Thanks. He tried to hook me for $1,000. Based on the rarity, I think I'm gonna pass, take it home, put it in a nice frame, and let everybody see it.
Okay. So what exactly you got here?
It's a World War II ammunition hand cart.
All right, do you know much about it?
It's a rusty old car with broken down tires. What else do you need to know?
Believe it or not, I got it out of a garbage pile.
It looks like it belongs in a garbage pile.
I really don't know a lot about it. Thought it would make a cool flower pot, but then when I saw the placard on it with the date, I was thinking maybe this thing's worth some money.
So how would this work? Would you like hook it up to a horse?
I imagine there was a handle right there, but you would hook it up to a Jeep if you needed to, just moving stuff around. The thing's built like a tank. I mean, obviously it was built so it could be shot. Do you know which company made it or anything like that?
There's a placard on it that just tells what area it came from.
Okay, we got hand carts and Rock Island Arsenal. It's from World War II, I imagine. Basically, every bit of industry was making something for the war. You know, most people don't realize this. During World War II, there was no cars made for personal use. The saying was, stop making what you're making, start making stuff for the war. During World War II, America's policy was basically all hands on deck. Everyone was expected to help with the war effort. And a cart like this was an important piece of equipment. It could haul ammo, food, medical supplies. And in a pinch, you could throw a wounded soldier on it and bring him back from the battlefield. Fully restored, these things can fetch a pretty penny. So how much you want for this thing?
I actually had it in a paper for sale with zero research. I put it in for $500.
So obviously it didn't sell for $500.
Not yet.
All right. Yeah, I mean, the one great thing you do have is it's all here. I mean, it looks neat, it looks interesting. There's a lot of collectors for stuff from World War II. My problem is, I don't even know if it'd be worth fixing up. Do you mind if I call someone? I got one buddy who knows about this stuff, and if it's not worth restoring, he might buy it off you for parts.
All right.
All right?
Pretty nervous. If it turns out to be a piece of crap, I guess I have a new flower pot.
It's a rare find because most of them went to Europe during World War II. They were used to carry everything from food to a .50 caliber machine gun. Even mortars were put in these things. This is probably made in the early 40s, and they were pretty useful. As a matter of fact, in the 1962 movie, The Longest Day, when the Duke got wounded, they put him in here and carried him into battle. It is just really cool, and they're friggin' hard to find.
Good news for me, I guess, huh?
Yeah. When I walked in, I knew it was a hand cart from World War II. Everything was carried in them. Felt sorry for the guys that had to pull them, but these things went all over Europe, and they pulled a lot of things and put a lot of miles on them. Really, it's not in bad shape. You got all the original castings and everything, original wheels and bearings, which is hard to find.
So how much is this thing worth the way it sits?
Well, these were selling for $1,500 to $2,000 in this condition.
Really? Because I thought it was a complete piece of myself.
In a restored condition, you could almost double that because they want it. If it looks like the real thing, they're happy with it.
All right, so tell me, how much would it cost to restore it?
Probably talking about $1,200 to $1,400.
Okay. Thanks, man.
All
I
right.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
For a serious collector, this is a must-have. If this guy is not totally crazy with his asking price, I'm gonna try and get it.
Honestly, I didn't think it was worth that much either.
I'm still sort of like baffled. I'll tell you what, I'll give you $400 for it. I know he said it was worth a lot more, but I give you $400. I pay him $1,200 to $1,400 to restore it. Before you know it, I'm in this thing close to $2,000. It takes up space in my shop.
That's not too far off of what I was asking in the paper, so I'll take $400 if you'll take a picture of it when you finish it.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture when I finish
That'd
it.
be cool. All right.
All right, $400, man.
Thanks.
I love it when there's no haggle, but I'm still a little worried about this one. If there's any problems with this piece and the restoration goes over budget, there goes my profit. Hopefully, it all pans out.
So what do you guys think? Well?
This thing looks pretty good.
It does look cool.
Looks straight out of G.I. Joe, the movie.
Well, hey, we'll grab our rifles, we'll grab our guns, and we'll join.
It doesn't look anything what it looked like.
No. Well, it took a lot of work. Actually, this little small thing was so intense to get it done. It was pretty tough.
What'd you have to do?
Well, I ripped the floor out and I actually made new ribs for it. I put all the original holes where they're supposed to be. So that way, if you want to mount a 50 caliber in here, you can.
Okay.
And I think it came out pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I was absolutely shocked that it looks like this thing right here, because when I gave it to you, it looked like hell.
You gotta realize this thing went through World War II. You know, it was just a tough life this thing had.
You were telling me before, these sell for like $2,500?
I'll be honest with you, I would start at $2,800 and feel where you're comfortable from there. I wouldn't let it go for a dime less. Because the collectors that go for these, you know, it's gotta be original, and with the numbers on there, it pops.
So what do the numbers mean?
It's the 6th vehicle, headquarters, 3rd division, so you should be able to get a good price for it.
Big question, how much are you?
Well, like I said, I told you $1,400, and that's it.
Okay, let me go pay you.
Let me see what it gets like with a little weight in here.
So you can pull 185 pounds?
Yeah, but you're more like 240.
Chum looked like a real soldier pulling Rick around. I'm surprised Rick even got in the cart.
Slow down, Chump, slow down. What do we have here?
I have a photo of and letter by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Now that's cool. Longfellow, he was the biggest there was. Unfortunately, today, I would say close to 99% of Americans can't even name a poet.
Probably not. I got this in the mid-'70s. I went to an auction. There was this table just full of what looked to me to be junk. In that group of stuff was this letter and photograph already framed. I bid $20 on it. My kids aren't interested in it, so you may as well see what I can get for it here at the pawn shop.
Is it a poem?
No, it's basically a letter. I think this dear madam, whoever she was, wrote to him for a photograph and some autographs to use in a fair. And he's sending that to make some money for the fair.
Okay, that is definitely cool. We live in such a different society now. In the 19th century, poetry was so important. It really was. I mean, the guy who wrote poems was as big as a huge author or a really big actor.
Exactly.
And he really was a superstar back then. This is the guy who, when he passed away, they put it was a statue or a bust or something like that in Westminster Abbey in England, okay?
In the Poets' Corner, yeah.
And I think he was the only American ever put in there, up to that point. There might be some now, but I think up to that point, he was the only one there.
Yeah.
And if you know how snooty the English were, especially back then, they still hadn't forgiven us for beating them in 2 wars. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow was the most popular poet in the United States in the 19th century. Almost every kid in school in this country has learned about the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. That poem created the legend of Paul Revere. Longfellow really was that influential. I'm assuming this is all real. I mean, the ink looks like from the period. How much were you looking to get?
I was hoping to get like $300 for it.
A big concern I have here is this is one of the most famous men in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay. It wouldn't surprise me if this guy got hundreds of letters every day. I don't know if he could respond to every one of them. Sometimes they would have a secretary write the letter, or he might have done the whole thing himself. This might have been, went to a secretary, you take care of those. Just give me a couple, I'll take care of those myself.
Cool.
I am a writer.
I guess we'll never know, will we?
Okay. No, there is a way. If you can hang out for a little bit here, I would like to get my friend down here to take a look at it. I have a friend that's a handwriting expert. He's one of the most respected people in this field. Hang out a few minutes. I'm going to go give him a call, and we'll get this figured out.
Cool, thanks. I'm sort of hyped about him bringing in an expert. It may surprise me. It may make me go back in my car and cry. I don't know. We'll see.
Steve.
What's up, Rick? Good to see you.
Everything in this world is great.
I like hearing that. How you doing?
Hey there, how are you?
This is it. This is what I called you about. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
You know, in terms of what this is, it's got great potential. In all honesty, this guy's really sought after.
Yeah.
This is really neat, you know, if it checks out.
I love it. Well,
So don't get your hopes up yet. Back when Longfellow was alive, poets were very popular. And that's why he kind of had that rock star status. He'd get paid a lot of money. Just for one poem, he could get paid at that time up to $3,000. What I want to do is take a look at the ink on here, and there's going to be several indicators, especially how the ink kind of adheres to the paper. So I'm going to follow the signature along here, and it kind of looks like it starts off pretty strong, okay? But the more I'm moving along here, you see how it gets very faint towards the end. So he's using a quill to write with it.
as the ink's running out.
And the ink's running out of the quill.
How cool is that? Wow.
No doubt about the ink on here. So that's one good sign, okay? The next thing I want to do is I want to pull up the examples that I have on file here. And on this example, yours very truly. We see yours very truly. I mean, we're looking at live ink.
Okay, so it's all legit.
Absolutely, there's no question about it.
So, what do you think it's worth?
The value on this piece, especially with a beautiful signature on there, the photograph, the framing, everything included, right around $1,500.
Cool.
Cool? Good luck. Good to see you.
Man.
Yep.
Hey, cool. Thanks a bunch.
You bet, man. Take care. Well, you know, there's a lot of different collectors that would kind of tap into this piece, and I think an autograph collector, first and foremost, would want it. Someone asking for his autograph in 1881. I think that's about as cool as it gets.
What'd you want for this? $300?
That's in the past.
Okay.
I have a little more information now. I don't think $300 is going to do it for me. I would sure like to see $900 for it.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you $700. Okay, you walked in here wanting $300. I had your stuff authenticated for you.
Yeah.
And I'm offering you more than double what you were asking. Okay, I think it's more than fair of me for $700.
Yeah, let's do 700.
Sweet.
Thank you, sir.
I will meet you right over there, and I will
Gotcha.
get you some cash.
Oh, I like that. 700 isn't 900, but you know, it's okay. It's a whole lot more than 300. I may go back home and dig through the closets again, see what I can find.
Hi there.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Got a 1922 proof high relief matte finish coin.
Okay. Where did you get this?
I won it at a poker game, believe it or not.
This is like one of the holy grails of American coins, and you won it in a poker game.
Yep.
Whoa.
Came down to the pawn shop today to try to sell a 1922 proof coin. I don't know a lot about it, but the guy who lost it to me said it was really valuable, so hoping to get 20,000 out of it.
This is cool. In 1921, we brought the silver dollar back. And the story goes is they were going to try and make some really high relief ones. What this means by high relief right here is the image really comes off the coin. Okay, it's much higher detail. And I don't know the exact story, but there was like some problems and they got melted down. And most people didn't even know they existed for like 15 years. And then all of a sudden, some stories came from the mint that they actually existed. So there's like a dozen of these things in the world.
It's pretty rare.
Oh, well, it's beyond rare. The 1922 high relief peace dollar is one of the rarest coins in American history. It definitely shocks me that people will walk up to my counter and pull out an item worth $50,000 or $100,000 or more. I definitely want this thing, but I have to make absolutely sure this is the real deal. Silver dollars is what every coin collector collects. Everyone collects silver dollars, and maybe they collect half dollars and nickels, but they all buy silver dollars. I mean, that's the mainstay of collectible coins.
Okay.
So, how much you want for it?
20,000.
What, you want 20 for it? 20,000?
Do you think it's worth
Yeah,
it?
sure, no problem. Let's go. No, this is worth a lot more than 20 grand.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Do you mind if I call a friend to take a look at this? I have a few mega concerns here, okay? I've never seen one in person, and I just want to make sure everything's legit. I mean, if someone was to fake a coin, this is the one they would do it on. I'm actually friends with a guy who works at NGC. He's one of the best coin graders. And if everything's legit, maybe we'll do some business. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, hang out.
All right. I think there's a good chance it's legit. Obviously, nothing in this world is 100%, but I'm happy with an expert coming in for sure.
Dave!
Rick, how you doing?
I am doing absolutely fabulous. And this is it. Oh.
Wow. It isn't every day a 1922 high-relief peace dollar walks in the door.
This guy got in a poker game.
Oh, my God. It's always nice to get called in on an exciting coin. This coin is particularly interesting, historical, and it's rare as hen's teeth.
Now, what exactly is the story with this coin? I mean, this was the coin the government minted, but no one knew they minted it for like 15 or 20 years?
That's correct. None of these had transacted until 1937. These were more or less unknown, and they carried over the high relief of the 1921 issues, all of which, by the way, were stuck in a one-week period at the end of 1921. Now, the high relief design was sort of a triumph of art and a failure of technology because although they were beautiful, they couldn't strike them with enough pressure to get a lot of them out. So they ended up early in 1922 having to reduce the relief of the design.
Okay.
So I assume your main concern is it real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
It is in an NGC holder, which is wonderful. The holder is completely intact and genuine. And the coin is perfectly legitimate. It's one of very few known.
Okay, so the big thing is, what's it worth?
One of these sold very recently that brought a touch over 100,000. It's a little bit nicer than this, but not too far apart. I think this coin is worth something north of 50, but less than 100.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Super rare, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, there you go.
All right.
All right.
I'll talk to you soon, man.
Sounds good. I'm quite excited that this is the real thing. Very few specialists have had the chance to actually handle them, but finding one of these, especially walking into a pawn shop, is really extraordinary.
I should have just gave you the 20 grand and not called in Dave.
I'm happier now.
I'll give you $65,000.
What about 90? I think 90 is fair.
You were willing to take 20 grand for it.
You weren't willing to offer me 20 grand for it.
I think 75 is fair.
Meet me in the middle at 80, and you got a deal.
It's a deal.
All right.
Okay. All right, let's go up front. I'll write you up.
I made 80,000 on the coin. Super excited about it. Definitely gonna keep playing poker. Hopefully I get another coin like this sometime.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how you doing?
What do we got? Looks like something fancy.
It's very fancy.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, it definitely looks French. That's about my extent of knowledge on this thing. Let me grab my dad real quick.
Sure.
Pops, you wanna come take a look at this for me?
What do you got?
Something's catching my eye on it. I just don't exactly know what it is.
Okay. Let's take a look. Oh, this is really fancy. Boutet or Boutet?
Boutet?
I'm not really good at pronouncing French. I'm not really good at pronouncing English.
I'm here at the pawn shop to try and sell my Boutet shotgun. I got this shotgun from my father. He was a collector of antique firearms. I'm getting rid of it now because my wife is getting tired of seeing it just mounted on the wall. It's rare, It's beautiful, and it's very, very well kept.
That's really, really nice. Boutet, he started doing this right around 1800-ish. He was like the Rembrandt of guns. I mean, before Boutet, there was the art, and then there was the function, and then this guy was like the first one to really combine the both of them. You had to be really, really wealthy to have a gun like this.
He was Napoleon's gunsmith.
Yeah, I think he was like an armorer for Napoleon. There was lots of these guns out there that were super inlaid, and they were made for royalty. But they really weren't that great of a gun because the royals were probably never going to fire it anyway. This is really fancy. That is gold inlay, where they would literally keep on pounding the gold into the steel till it's stuck. This is burled walnut, hand checkered. All these pieces down here are really high quality steel, and high quality steel like this was really expensive to make. I mean, just everything about this is just like crazy quality. And there's probably some other stuff about it I don't know.
Should I give Alex a call?
Well, how much do you want for it? Because if he wants $50, I'll just give him that now and we'll...
Oh, it's not going for $50. I'm looking at 10 grand.
Okay. Yeah, give Alex a call. I mean, it's most likely worth at least that. It could be more. I just got a lot of questions on it, and we'll go from there.
All right, I'll call Alex.
They're bringing in an expert. And I think it's a really good idea because I'm guessing at what the value of this firearm is. I'm hoping he will up the ante, period.
What do you think?
Holy moly. Can I pick it up?
Please.
This is stunning. So Boutet was the gunsmith in France in the 18th century and into the beginning of the 19th century. He was so good that he was the royal gunsmith to Louis XVI, who was the final king before the Revolution. And not only was he his gunsmith, but Napoleon made him his gunsmith. So the guy had a long career as basically the finest gunsmith, certainly in France, but many people would argue in the world.
Okay.
Let me just see the... So it's about probably a 50 or 60 caliber, which doesn't really mean anything in shotgun terms, but for people like today, you would say this is about a 20 or 22 gauge. It's muzzle loading, it's flintlock. I'd like to just see the... Oh, yeah. So what I'm doing there is just making sure that the springs are still good, and they certainly are. Yep, and so it's a double trigger. So one trigger fires one cock, the other fires the other. So you see Boutets in some of the finest museums in the world. There's a series of Boutets at the Met in New York. They are all over Europe.
So basically what we may have here is a one-off piece by one of the best French gun makers of all time.
The best French gun maker of all time, arguably the best gun maker in history.
Okay, any idea what it's worth?
So simple Boutets will start easily about $10,000.
Okay.
One like this, on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as decorative, this is about a 6. So they get very, very decorative. The one thing I'd like to do is I'd like to test it. If it fires how I believe it would, I'd be more comfortable evaluating it.
Do you mind meeting us out at the range with it so we can test it out?
Sure.
And we'll meet you out there, okay?
See you at the range, man. Yep. Let me grab a piece of paper. I'll write down the address for you.
Awesome.
I think my wife would get really mad if I came home and said, I saw a really nice Boutet at work today.
Hello, boys.
Hey. So the Boutet looks all polished up and ready to go?
The Boutet is shiny, yeah. One of the things I have found in this direct sunlight is actually the barrels are also marked. So this barrel is marked Boutet, and then the other side, it's marked manufactured in Versailles, and it has a serial number 322. So that actually might be traceable, which is really nice to see on the barrels. So
all right.
That's an added bonus. I brought some shot. I've got some F black powder. We're gonna load about 50 grains, which is a pretty light load for this, but just to be safe with it. And I set up some fruit targets.
Let's do this.
This shotgun is like a piece of art. Typically, I wouldn't fire this gun, but collectors search for firearms like this. And if it's successful, I do think it'll help the value.
All right, so I think I should shoot it?
I'll shoot it.
I have waited half of my life to shoot a Boutet. Let me try it.
Alex is gonna shoot it.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
There we go. That was good.
So it fires, it works, everything's perfect on it?
It functioned exactly as it should function. And I'm not surprised, because Boutet is the finest gunmaker of all time.
What do you think it's worth?
I think if this went to auction in this condition, I wouldn't be surprised to see it sell it for $30,000.
Damn. That much?
It's really nice.
Do you see the smile on my face?
All right, well, thanks, man. I'll talk to you later.
Very welcome. And it was a pleasure, Dennis. Thank you for letting me fire it.
My pleasure.
All right. See you guys. Good luck.
Take care, bud.
All right. So you were asking 10. I'm assuming you want a little bit more now?
No, I want a lot more.
All right.
20. I think that's a pretty fair offer.
I'll give you 15 grand for it.
18.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 16 grand for it. And normally I pay you a little bit more, but something like this, I'm not gonna see money back for a year or two.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the level with you. It's a lot more than I thought I would get. We'll do 16.
All right, sweet.
All right.
All right, bring it back to the shop. We'll do some paperwork, and I'll get you paid. So, I now own a fine Boutet. Not that I haven't always had one.
It took you 50-something years to get one.
Hey, how's it going? What do we have?
We have a pottery duck from Colima, Mexico.
All right, Pops, you know anything about ducks from Colima, Mexico?
A little bit. You liked rubber duckies when you were a kid. Filled the bathtub up with them. He had a blast with them when he was like 3.
I'm at the pawn shop today to sell my old pottery duck. I got the duck from an antique shop in Scottsdale, Arizona, and ever since then, just weird things, happening around the house, and couldn't figure out what it was until everything started falling around the duck. So that's why I'm looking to sell it. I'm asking $4,000 for the duck because it looks pretty old. I mean, it does have magic powers.
I actually think it's kind of cool. It looks old. It looks like the pottery they made, like a couple thousand years ago. The indigenous people of Mexico were incredible artists when it came to pottery.
So, I mean, what do you think it was used for? Were you supposed to drink out of it or something?
It was probably something ceremonial. They truly believed that the animals, after you passed away, they would guide you to the next world. So that's why they did a lot of pottery with animals.
What religion is the duck in?
Probably an ancient religion that doesn't exist anymore.
Ever since I've had it, it's just some weird things have been happening around the house.
Well, what kind of weird stuff happens?
Well, things like fall off the shelves. I hear weird noises.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's probably not the duck's fault.
Now, the craftsmanship's amazing. You can still see, whereas in the kiln, burn marks and everything on the bottom. So it went into a kiln like this, and it came out with those beautiful finishes on it. I mean, if you looked at this from 3 or 4 feet away, it looks like wood. I mean, that's how beautiful they did it. I think it's kind of amazing. How much are you looking to get out of this?
About $4,000.
Okay, it's got me intrigued because it could be very, very old. But it's in incredible condition, which is kind of scary. Because usually there's chipped and, if it's 2,000 years old, like, you have kids playing with it and everything.
Any place you go in Mexico, there's like, counterfeit versions of stuff like this.
I'd like someone to look at it, if you don't mind.
I don't know.
Can you give Bob a call? I have a friend who will know a lot about this. All right?
Hang on, I'll be back in a little bit, okay?
I'm hoping the expert can value it to my asking price because I want to get rid of it.
What's up, Bob? How you doing?
Hi there. How are you? That is quite the duck. I can tell you a couple of things about it. 2,000 years ago, they made animals to go into a tomb, and they'd lay the body and they'd place these animals around. All of the animals that they would put in the tomb had a function. They'd be companions, they'd be spirit guides, but most of them were to be eaten in the afterlife. A big fat duck like this was going to be somebody's dinner in the afterlife. It would have only gone to somebody fairly important. And this form, very rare. Can I take a look at it?
Yeah, go right ahead.
One of the things that I'm noticing, it's got the burnishing lines, so they would use a stone, and they would polish this extensively before it would go in the kiln. Got nice manganese blooms, but I see a repair here. I see that there are repairs in the body. They're almost invisible, so whoever restored this, they did a fabulous job.
So you think this is 100% real?
Yeah, 100% real, 300 BC to 300 AD, ancient.
So what's it worth?
It's authentic, it's old, it's rare, it's stunning. 8,000.
Okay.
You're not gonna whip out like your X-ray machine or anything on it?
I don't need to. It's got all the signs you want to see.
Well, Bob, I appreciate you coming down.
My pleasure. It's amazing to see anything that's 2,000 years old, but it was in a tomb that has been protected from the elements and the ages. So of all of the ancient cultures, Colima seemed to survive the best.
So you want 4,000 for it? Okay, I mean, I give you 4 because it does take a long time to sell it.
Okay, awesome.
Right.
Please.
You want to go write her up?
All right, luckily I'm not superstitious, so I'll meet you up over there.
All right.
And he's going to pay her in $100 bills.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How can I help you?
So I am trying to sell this leather biker jacket. I'm thinking it's from either World War I or World War II. I just don't really know much about it.
All right. Is your Harley parked out front?
Oh, yeah. I'm at the pawn shop today to try to sell my vintage leather biker jacket that I believe is from either World War I or World War II. I'm hoping to get $1,000 for this jacket, especially since vintage clothing is coming back and the jacket is in such good condition. If I make the sale today, I'll probably save some of the money, give some of it to my dad, and maybe buy him a new record player.
The jacket's really cool. So where did you get it?
I found this when I was cleaning out closets in my house. My dad has always collected vintage leather jackets, and this one was just in there.
Well, it's definitely a cool jacket. All right, let's take a look at it here. All right, we definitely got leather. It's showing some good age that leather would show as well. It's got the word Mac on the front, which maybe was a name. It has the airborne patch on it with the eagle right there. And then the other patch over here, it says Allied Airbornes. Some writing on the back. And the battered bastards of Bastogne. So I definitely do agree with you. A wartime jacket, probably from the 40s or whatnot. But looking at the patches, I don't think this would have been like a motorcycle jacket. This looks like it would have been maybe like a pilot's jacket or something like that. I have some concerns though. I don't feel like the writing and the patches match up with the cut of the jacket. Looking at this jacket, it's cut more in the style of a European jacket. An American jacket would have come down more, kind of more flat. This is more typical of a European cut. How much are you looking to get for it?
I was thinking 1,000.
I mean, that's not out of the question. Honestly, if it checks out, I could probably give you more than 1,000 for sure and still leave room to make some money.
That would be great.
But I have some questions about this jacket. Can I have someone come down and take a look at it? They specialize in, you know, military memorabilia. You have a little time to wait?
Yeah, for sure. No problem.
Give me just a few minutes. I'm gonna make a phone call and get someone down here.
Okay, no worries. My main concern is that we don't know the history behind the jacket, so it could be fake and not worth anything.
Well, here's Alex.
Hi, Alex. Nice to meet you.
He should know a lot more about this jacket than you or I.
Okay, perfect.
Wow. There's a bunch going on with this jacket. The battered bastards of Bastogne, that's referencing the Battle of the Bulge. The 326th jumped at Normandy, and the Eagle is of the 101st Airborne Division. If you're gonna have something from World War II that is referencing an American victory, it's Bastogne or Normandy, but this is both. This jacket has some really cool history. The battered bastards of Bastogne. So these guys were surrounded by the German troops, very little ammunition, very little food, no winter clothing, December and January 1944 and 45. The German commander at the time sent a letter to the American commander demanding their surrender or they were going to be annihilated, and the American commander just wrote one word back: nuts. From that point on, the German troops retreated all the way to the final end of the war. Now, you don't see anything like this often. It's actually really classic German pilot leather jacket. A Luftwaffe pilot would have had this. It's got that high crop. So the way this would have come about is an American soldier would have captured the German pilot and taken his jacket, and then essentially he made this a memento of the war.
So I know that these are faked often. What are the steps we can take to figure out if this jacket was painted wartime?
All right, so we start here and zoom in. Now, you can see here on this A and B, you see all that spidering of the paint, and you see how the leather itself has little peaks and valleys. If it were newly painted, you would see the paint inside all the little valleys and nooks and crannies. And so I am completely sure that that paint is authentic to the World War II period.
How much is it worth?
It's a one-of-a-kind piece, and it is fantastic. I would not be surprised to see this thing sell at $12,000.
Wow.
All right, well, thanks for coming down.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Yep. See you, chum.
All right, I'll give you $1,000 for it.
Well, now that we know it's worth a lot more than that, what do you think about raising the price?
As cool as it is, when you're talking about, you know, $12,000, it's gonna take a very special person to buy this. I just don't think that it's a good fit for me right now. Put this in an auction, you'll probably get a $12,000, maybe even more, and you can come back and thank me later.
All right, well, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. I'm pleasantly surprised that the expert told me the jacket is worth $12,000. I hope to jack it up and sell it online.
What can I help you with?
I have a watch here.
Okay. Apparently it's an old watch.
I hope so.
Where did you get it?
A garage sale.
Really cool watch. Do you mind me asking what you paid for it?
$20. I came into the pawn shop today to try to sell my antique pocket watch. I'd like to sell it because I don't collect pocket watches. If I get 500, if I get 800, I'll be happy. Anything works for me.
Do you know much about it?
I don't know anything about it. I just discovered it and it looked cool. So.
Well, I can tell you a little bit about it. It's a William Ellery. That's an American watch company that later became Waltham Watch Company. Abe Lincoln actually carried a Waltham watch.
Wow.
This is absolutely amazing back here. Earl Butler Hero saved my life at Cross Keys, Robert M. Scott. That's,
something good?
That is something good. I'm assuming that's the Civil War. The watch is probably 1870s, 1880s. Pretty easy to date them. First off, it's a key wind and a key set. By the 1890s, they were almost all going to stem winds. That would make it right around the right time period. It has to be the Civil War. You just increase the cool factor by like 10 times, okay? Because this actually belonged to a Civil War veteran.
Okay.
Okay? That was given to that person by another Civil War veteran.
Okay.
Who saved his life at Cross Keys, which I'm assuming was a battle. One of the greatest gifts you could give in the 19th century was a pocket watch. Imagine someone gave this to a friend who saved his life during the Civil War. I have never seen anything like it. Do you know if it runs?
No.
It's wanting to work. It's working?
That's positive, right?
Yes, I mean, the great thing about this watch is it's in amazing shape. It works great. The case is in amazing condition. We have a porcelain dial on it that doesn't have one crack. These things are notorious for cracking. There's a huge market for Civil War stuff, and a pocket watch in this condition with engraving on the back could be worth a fortune. Collectors would line up out the door to buy this thing. I mean, this has got me really fascinated right here, though. I'd really like to find out who these people are. These could be important people from the battle.
Okay.
I'd like to find out more about the battle. I have a buddy who knows just about everything there is to know about the Civil War. If there's something special here, you might have a lot more money.
Okay.
All right?
Great.
I'll be right back.
Thanks. Since he's calling in the expert, that must mean something good. I hope so, anyway.
How you doing?
Mark, how's it going?
Doing all right. The guys normally call me down here when they've got an historical artifact.
I have this watch here, and the engraving says that it's from the Battle of Cross Keys.
The Battle of Cross Keys was an interesting one. This was early on in the Civil War. And this was Stonewall Jackson, one of the best-known generals on the southern side. And Cross Keys was one of the battles with Union forces. And the Confederates had about 5,800 men in this battle. The Union side had over 11,000 men in this battle, and the Union lost.
Were you able to find out anything about those names or anything like that?
Well, there are a number of Robert M. Scotts out there. There are a number of Earl Butlers out there. They don't show up in the historic record individually that I could find.
I mean, the watch is really cool. I mean, it seems like it's from the right time period and everything like that. Do you think it's legit?
Okay, do you mind if I take a closer look at it?
Please.
Okay. Oh, yeah. The time period would be probably the late 1880s. So the name on it and the serial number both fit. That's all good. And if you were going to fake a piece like this, you would pick a battle that everybody's heard of. You know, it'd be thanks for saving my life at Gettysburg or something.
Yeah.
And that the engraving is all hand done. In looking at it, I think that this appears to be correct to me. I think it's a very nice memorial from the Civil War. You know, this is somebody in post-war years and said, I want to say thank you. Hopefully that helps.
Thanks, man.
Not a problem.
Thank
you very much.
What do you want for it?
2,000.
I mean, the two people on there are really not known. So, $700.
But the battle's known. 1,800.
If it didn't have that engraving on it, is literally worth $400 or $500. Let me give you $1,000 for it.
Come on, you're gonna make a profit either way. How about 15?
I just don't know what I'm gonna get out of it. I'll go 1,300, not a dime more.
13 will work.
Okay, 1,300.
All right.
I'll meet you right up front over there.
All right, thanks. Bought it for $20, and I'm walking out with $1,300. I'm ecstatic. I couldn't be happier.
Hey, how's it going? Good. How you doing? I brought you some autographed Hollywood postcards from the 1950s. We have Babe Ruth.
Whoa. The Great Gambino.
It's Bambino.
Oh.
The collection is over 250 vintage Hollywood autographed postcards. Some of them are hard to read. Some of them have really bad penmanship. I am hoping to get $2,500 for it today, and I think I'll take around $1,000. Let's start here. Where did you get them? My great uncle was a grip in Hollywood in the 50s, and he would have them sign them and then send them to my mom, and she gave them to me.
Okay, he must have done this for a long time, judging by this day.
A good while, 1948 all the way up to 56.
This is incredible. We got John Wayne, Lucille Ball. I can understand it, you know, how he would be able to get them. An actor's less likely to say no to an autograph if they have to work and see somebody every day. It looks like most of them were personalized. What was your mom's name?
Susan. Susan?
Okay.
Some are a little more than others. Some are just, you know, to Susie or good luck or best wishes.
All right. God, who else do you have?
Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah, Elizabeth Taylor. Did you know she was born with some disease where she was covered from head to toe with hair? Some people are just born with this. Luckily, all hers fell out after a few weeks of being born. But could you imagine if Elizabeth Taylor was the hairiest woman on the planet? That's Dean Martin right there. And the list just goes on and on. Gary Cooper.
We have Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis.
Vincent Price. Lauren Bacall.
It's been a while since something left me speechless. What you have here is really, really amazing. I don't even know where to start. Normally, I get someone bringing in a signature, not this many at one time.
The thing with this collection is that there's so many of them. I don't know if some, all, or none of these are real. And if they are real, I don't know if they're worth more than the others. Without knowing a bit more, I don't know how to price this.
Before we go any further, how much do you want for them?
I was thinking $2,500 for all of them.
Okay, basically, I need to make sure your uncle wasn't just trying to impress your mom every couple months by sending her one of these.
Understandable.
You mind if I call someone in to take a look? He's probably one of the best signature experts you're gonna get.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, my man.
When it comes to celebrity autographs, this guy might have a gold mine on his hands, or it could be a huge pile of white lies from his uncle. Either way, $2,500 is a lot of money, so I'll let Steve be the judge. Earlier, a guy came in with a huge collection of celebrity signed postcards from the 1940s and 50s.
I'd never seen a collection quite like it, so I called up my buddy Steve to come down and take a look. Hopefully he'll be able to tell me if they're legit and what they're worth.
That's like a pretty crazy assemblage here.
This guy has over 250 autographs from the 1940s and 50s.
Wow.
So far, it's everything from Babe Ruth to Marilyn Monroe.
It's pretty rare you see like a, just a whole collection like this. Obviously this wasn't gotten overnight or whatever. I mean, it's a massive stack. Tell me a little bit about the history.
My uncle was a grip in Hollywood during this time, and he would have them sign it to Susie or Susan, my mother, and then he would address to her in Brooklyn and send it to her. And that went on for about 8-10 years.
Was it just sitting like in a shoebox packed away in a closet somewhere?
It was sitting in a shoebox for as long as I can remember.
You took it out of the shoebox, you put it in these containers, and here we are today.
That's it.
Wow. I mean, I'm kind of blown away by all this.
And just the fact that they're all dated.
Yeah.
That makes it great.
I mean, actually, I think that's probably the more cool thing, the dates on each one. That's pretty awesome. I mean, you could chart these things exactly to when they were signed. It's okay if I have a look through some of this? Okay.
Please do.
All right.
Maybe you'll be able to recognize some of them.
Do you guys know who this is?
Jimmy Stewart.
That's Jimmy Stewart.
Liberty Valance.
Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life, one of the most famous actors of all time. Do you guys know who that is?
Paul Newman.
We're talking about the dressing, Paul Newman?
Yeah, the dressing, the salsa. But the great actor Paul Newman, one of the toughest autographs to obtain in person. There's no doubt that his uncle was pretty well liked on the set to be able to approach someone like Marilyn Monroe, Babe Ruth. I mean, this guy must have been really popular. Whoa, you guys know who that is?
Marlon Brando.
I mean, this is about one of the strangest guys you're ever gonna come across and one of the best actors of all time. Back in his later years, I mean, I'm talking like 80s, 90s, if you were lucky enough to approach this guy in the street and even ask for his autograph, he used to give you a set of trivia questions you have to answer. And if you answered one wrong, didn't matter, you wouldn't get his autograph. But if you got all 5 right, he'd sign for you. But with Marlon Brando, when he signed, especially later in life, it was like instant gold. I'm seeing some great names in here. Susan Hayward, Joe DiMaggio. It's pretty amazing. I just keep pulling more and more and more. It's just an amazing assemblage. And we're looking at a bunch of deceased celebrities, stuff that you're not gonna get signed anymore. And the most important thing to collectors, that's a vintage dated signature. And that's a really big deal.
So, Steve, what do you think? What do we got here?
I think you've got a pretty phenomenal collection here, if it all checks out. I don't need the Pro Scope today. I mean, I could tell, we've got real writing on this. It's all different kinds of ink. I want to be able to go through my examples, figure out what's here, figure out if anybody, by any chance, if there's a secretary signing for somebody that day.
Okay.
But the bad thing is I can't tell you right now. You guys got time today? Is that all right?
I got you, my man. Whatever you need. If you want to borrow Chumley or the conference room, whatever you need. I know it's a lot to ask. Do you mind?
No. Be my guest?
Okay.
Right on. All right. You might want to grab some lunch or something, because it's going to be a minute, man.
Okay.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Good. So, what do you think?
This stuff is all no good. It was a big waste of my time to stand here and go through this stuff. I mean, that's the unfortunate part about it.
Really?
No. Actually, it's probably one of the best collections I've ever seen.
Awesome.
Yeah. I can't tell you how rare this stuff is. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Elvis Presley, but he's here too. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, Elvis Presley made an appearance in here. Great example. The guy's not an autograph guy. He didn't get him in person, so he really had no idea that someone like Elvis Presley was just sitting at the bottom of the stack. That is incredible. Frank Sinatra. Do you even know Frank Sinatra was in here?
No. No
See,
idea.
you're learning something new every day.
Yeah.
For 1954. This is at basically the height of Frank Sinatra. Babe Ruth, the great Babe Ruth. This one I really enjoyed a lot. It's dated May 3rd, 1948. 3 months later, Babe Ruth was dead. The great thing about this Ruth signature is in ballpoint pen. Babe Ruth had a heavy hand, liked to sign in fountain pen. Now, I've had a chance to certify 3,000, 4,000 authentic Babe Ruth signatures in my time at PSA. I've seen maybe 10 sign a ballpoint pen. That's how rare they are.
Wow.
Well, he came in here wanting $2,500 for all of them. What do you think they're worth?
That's pretty good. But An amazing collection. When I look at the signatures in here, it's pretty crazy. We're talking Humphrey Bogart, I saw Boris Karloff, Jerry Lewis, Willie Mays. I could just keep going on and on. You're looking at anywhere from about $8,000 to $12,000.
Wow. Still on 2,500?
No.
I really appreciate it.
Of course, anytime, Mac. Usually, I am the guy who gives the bad news. So today, I gave some good news, and it felt really good.
So we found out a lot, my man. What do you want for him now?
Start at 8,000 then?
I'm gonna be really honest with you. I'm gonna get a lot of money for these when I sell them. But it's gonna take years and it's gonna take money. As great as it is to have Babe Ruth's signature, it's really hard to sell it on a postcard in a stack. You know, it's gonna have to be displayed, put it in a frame. I mean, we're talking, it's gonna cost me $200 to $300 for each one of these I sell. You wanted 2,500. I'll give you $6 grand. You gonna take $6 grand?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That works. I'm sure my mom will be really surprised that we got $6,000 for it. Although, I might keep it a secret.
Hey, can I help you?
Hello. Yes, actually, I have this.
All right. Are you a stamp collector?
I'm not, but they do appear to be very valuable. They're extremely old.
All right. The stamp that lost us the American colonies. Stamp of 1765 issues in accordance with the Greenville Stamp Act in the attempt to tax the American colonies. Oh, wow. I think this is a stamp in relation to the Stamp Act. Too bad my boss isn't here, because he would really want to nerd out on this right now.
I'm here to sell some old stamps that I have. They're definitely unique. I know they're not like the stamps that we use today, that's for sure. I'm asking $250 for the stamps. I feel like they're worth some value because of how old they are.
This is pretty cool. I mean, basically what the Stamp Act was is the British Parliament deciding that all British citizens need to pay a paper tax, whether they lived on this continent or in Britain. So they imposed this Stamp Act of 1765. And if you lived on this continent at the time, it wasn't America. Everyone was from England. So you still had to pay that tax. And this little stamp right here had to be on every single piece of paper, if I remember correctly. Otherwise, there was some type of legal consequence.
Oh, wow. It says America on it, too, actually, on here.
American colonies, yeah. We weren't quite America yet. This is right before, you know, we fought the Revolutionary War to become free. They're pretty interesting. They almost look embossed. They kind of look royal, you know? It kind of looks like something the British Parliament would make. It's these deep blue colors. How much are you looking to get for it?
I'm thinking probably like $250.
Well, normally I'd just go get my boss, but he's not gonna be back for a few hours. If you have a few minutes to hang out, though, I can call my buddy, and he knows the value of all this kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a couple minutes.
It could be worth a lot of money.
I'd like to hear what the expert has to say because I'm confident they're valuable, but I'm not exactly sure how much. I'm just taking a wild guess on this.
So, this is what I called you about? I thought it was pretty interesting, but Rick wasn't around, and I figured even if he was, he'd call you down anyways.
He would love this. Yes, you're right. These are really interesting. This is something that a collector has put together who collected British revenue stamps. These ones up here are from the 1694 series, which was for general use by the British. However, this one here appears as a stamp issued by the British in line with the Stamp Act. Well, the Stamp Act was a way for the British Crown to raise money in the colonies in America. Remember, they had just come out of fighting the French and Indian War. They emerged victorious, but it was very expensive, and they wanted to recoup some of that money. So they came up with a Stamp Act, which specifically targeted the Americas. It mainly affected items on paper, although it also affected dice. I mean, who knew?
No gambling without a tax.
Exactly. I'll make sure it says America. The British issued all sorts of revenue stamps in the 18th century. If it says America, we're in business. Yes, it does. Yeah, this one says America. This is wonderful. So this is an important stamp.
Seems like there'd be a lot of these if you had to stamp it on every piece of paper.
You would think it was a relatively short-lived act. It was introduced in 1765 and just a few months later repealed. So there wasn't a lot of opportunity for their use.
What kind of value would you put on it?
Well, the basal value is about $400 or $500 if you're buying it in a stamp auction, but this also has some other stamps. I think to any advanced collector, it's easily a $1,000 item.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, appreciate it.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Looks like someone's happy with what they heard.
Yeah, I had no idea. I'm working with 1,000 now. How does that sound to you?
It sounds like a little too much to me. Would you take $450?
$450. That, I think maybe if it was just these, but...
What are you thinking?
Well, I don't want to sell them for half what they're worth, so how about $650?
You think you could do 600?
I don't think so. That's a little too low. That's almost selling them for half what they're worth.
$250 to $650, huh?
I could just take them back with me.
I really want to show them to my boss, so I'm gonna make a deal. $650.
$650.
All right, meet me right up here at the counter. I'll
Okay.
take these.
I'm leaving here with $650 for those stamps, and that's more than I was looking for, and that's awesome.